These are the 5 best ways to help you to stop thinking about your ex. The first is to normalize it. I know that this is going to go against everything that you've heard or what you feel about what to do to stop this from happening, but you need to understand by you trying to resist this, you are only going to make things worse. You are only going to make your brain naturally start to fixate on this and want to look out to make sure that you are not doing this because you are signifying to it that this is something that you need to avoid. And what your brain is going to do is that it is going to try to prepare for this to keep you safe. So when you are telling it that this is a very bad thing, we cannot think about our ex, you're essentially telling your brain, we need to pay attention to this and make a huge deal out of it so we can prepare ourselves to not feel those negative emotions. But when you normalize it and begin to understand that this is all part of the healing process, it becomes so much easier for you to just associate those as just normal thoughts and let them go. You are grasping and giving meaning to those thoughts when you try to avoid it. You are telling your brain again that this is a very bad thing. We need to file this away and we need to dissect it and try to figure out how to not ever feel that. But these are just natural things that happen, and it's a way of your body being able to start that healing process. This is where you lose that charge of having that negative reaction, whether you start to get anxiety or start to feel depressed or whatever negative emotion comes up when you have that thought, it starts to diminish. And what happens is that you now associate it as just being a thought. And that's it. The best way to put this is that what I learned in therapy is that your thoughts should be treated like a train. A train that's just simply going by. You'll notice it, you'll see it, but it's just simply going by. You don't hold on to it. You don't obsess about what you saw. It just comes and goes. And that's the best way that you can look at this, is that it is just a thought that is coming through. It is passing through and may be loud and obnoxious and make you feel, scared or anxious for a little bit, but that's okay because you know that it's going to pass at some point in time. And that's what's going to help you to stop this obsession, to stop continuing to feel guilty or whatever negative emotion that's causing you to feel even worse than actually having the initial thought. When you begin to let it go, it diminishes it and it signifies to your brain that this is something that we don't need to hold on to. The second thing is to see the relationship as it really was. Chances are when you are in this mindset, you are focusing on all of the good things that happen, everything that you miss, all the wonderful feelings that you've had. And this is a misrepresentation of the entire relationship. Chances are there are things that you didn't like about the relationship that you were just going with because you were in the mode of that relationship. You were in love. So you were fogged by what is actually going on. And when you begin to take a step back and understand it and see it for that bigger picture, you start to see, wow, this relationship really wasn't what I wanted. I can see a lot of things that I was sacrificing or was just not being true to who I am. And this is actually somewhat a good thing. Now, the good thing part tends to happen a little bit later on as you're going through this, but you in that moment start to feel a relief because you start to wake up to the reality of what that relationship was. And this helps you to not obsess about this person, because when you are in that mindset of, looking at only the good, of course your mind and even body is going to go into fight or flight because you're panicking, thinking like, this was the best thing ever. Like, I'm never going to find this love again. I need to do whatever I can to, get this person back. And it causes you to do irrational things, or you are sitting there being obsessive of the relationship and thinking about all the different things that you did wrong to ruin the best thing that happened to you. But when you begin to see the relationship for what it actually was and not this construed view that you have, you begin to see that it is best for you to start to move on. You begin to see that you don't need to have this obsession about why this didn't work out and, start to obsess about whether or not you can try to make this work or whatever you're continuously thinking about this. It starts to diminish that need to do that because you start to focus more on, okay, this isn't something that I want. What do I want? And who am I now? What do I want to be? How do I want to show up in the next relationship? How do I want that partner to show up for me? This is all what starts to happen slowly as you start to explore this and allow yourself to see the relationship for what it was, which leads perfectly into number 3, and that is reframing the thoughts you have. Chances are you are in panic mode right now. You probably are having something that may trigger, whether it's a smell or something that, somebody says that makes you remind you of them and the relationship. And it's causing you to kind of go into this reaction to where you are thinking, I need to do everything that I can to try to get this person back. I miss them so much, or whatever negative emotions that you're having. But it's important for you to, one, feel those emotions and honor them because it's real. You shouldn't try to push them away. It's only going to make things worse. But 2, reframe what that thought is. Why are you feeling this way? What is another way that you can look at this? For instance, when you feel like I'm never going to find somebody else that's going to love me, this is the only person, I would reframe it to, I am feeling this way right now because I genuinely love this person, but there is somebody else out there that I know that I'll find and be able to love just as much. It's just right now I'm not ready for it. Of course, this is going to look different for you, and it's important for you to explore it and to find different ways that you can look at it and not sit there and get stuck with that thought and think, well, why am I feeling this way? This is stupid. This is dumb. I should be healing from this. They've done X, Y, and Z to me. Why can't I just let this go? Whatever negative thoughts or way of looking at this that you're having, you have to be patient with yourself and try to reframe that thought to work for you and not against you. Number 4 is to talk with someone. This is one of the most important things that I think a lot of people miss because you are just wanting to be in your own realm. You don't want to deal with anyone trying to, make you feel guilty or to lecture you or whatever that might be. And I get it. But it is very important for you to try to find somebody that you trust, that you can just kind of get all this off of your chest and they'll actually listen to you and, not necessarily tell you what to do, but just kind of almost know you to kind of give you some kind of other ways of looking at it, because you are going to be so much in your head that you are going to actually believe things that aren't true. Things like, I'm never going to find somebody else that's going to love me. That is not true. There is going to be somebody else who's going to love you. Heck, they're probably going to love you even more than this person ever could. But you will never know until you begin to heal yourself and move on. And then when you're ready, put yourself out there to find that person. And it's so important for you to kind of speak these things out loud because in your head, it feels legitimate, it feels real, and you obsess about this. But when you have a conversation with somebody, you begin to naturally start to realize, like, this is a catastrophizing thought. I am not really in the right mindset to really look at this and realize the reality of it. And that simple act of you just talking about it really helps you to look at what is actually true versus what is you catastrophizing the situation itself. And if you don't have somebody that you trust to do this, I would highly recommend talking with a coach or talking with a therapist, because that is their jobs. Their jobs is to essentially hear you out and to not give you any type of judgment. Simply, the best therapists and coaches are going to guide you through this journey to see what is true for yourself and how you want to feel. And that is so important, and I can tell you will help you so much in this process, because you will start to see in real time how you can challenge these thoughts and how you can reframe them so that it can be actually legitimate to what you're feeling and also help you to push through this. Number 5 is going no contact. It is so important for you to go no contact. And when I say this, it doesn't just mean to not reach out to this person. It means to delete them on all social media. It means to even delete their family and friends on social media so that you don't have any instances of seeing them. Right now is not the time for you to have these triggers, because you need to be away from the situation entirely so that you can begin to process things and actually heal. And maybe later on down the road, when you feel like you're ready, you can refriend them on social media and their family and whatever you feel is right for you. But right now, you need to be away from all of these triggers so that you can do what's necessary for you to heal from this. And I think a lot of us think that, oh, I can just go no contact and, not reach out to them and that's enough. But a lot of the times, if you see a picture of them, if you see their name mentioned anywhere, or even if you see their family members, like, that is going to trigger a response or a thought that you begin to obsess about. And it's hard for you to kind of really get yourself out of that mode without you having the adequate tools that are built up through the healing process to actually fall back on to help you through that. You haven't got to that point to where you have those tools so that you don't have these negative reactions that you're having. And again, this is something that I think a lot of us miss when we're going no contact, but it's so important for you to actually do because it is going to help you here. Again, this is not forever, but right now, you need to go no contact with them until you feel like you have actually done enough to heal and move on from this person. I hope you did enjoy today's video. If you did, please make sure to hit that like button. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.